everyone. We're here today with Joey Rodriguez. He is our producer for our podcast with Nicole and I, and we just love him so much. He does such a great job that we wanted to interview him today so that all of you could get to know him and maybe possibly want to use his services at some point too. He's great.
Yes, and he's got more than just being a producer. He's got a lot of other businesses.
A lot going on. Yep.
We're excited to hear about your background. We have lots of questions for you. So should we get started?
Let's get started.
Okay, what's the first question you want to ask Joey?
I want to start from the beginning. So Joey, tell us kind of what you've done with your adult life.
Adult life.
Start from the beginning, because I know you've had a full life, sir.
Right,
I know
right.
you've been in the service.
So I grew up in Texas. So I grew up in Houston, and when I was growing up, I always had dreams. I was always the kid that looked out the window and thought of things, and so from there, I went to college. I got a drafting degree, and during that time, I went to the military because I think during that time it was like drafting was kind of going out of style, and so I went in the military. And I did.
Proactive, I love that.
Yeah, and thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes,
So what branch of the military were you in?
So I did Air Force. I went in the Air Force, and I went into what they called a metals tech. And so what that does is you take care of the F-16s, and you kind of make them, you prep them for flight. But during that whole time, it was whenever they were bracking out the F-16s, was when they take out the F-16s because it was getting older. And I moved into civil engineering. So that was something that was really instrumental in what I do now. Just from the fact that you're looking at numbers, you're looking at plot lines, and that helped out a lot.
Nice.
Okay, so you're from Texas. So have you lived anywhere else?
Oh my goodness, lots of places.
Okay, I opened up a can of worms.
So being in the military, I lived Houston, Maryland. I lived in Aberdeen, Maryland. I also went to Missouri. Lived in Lake the Ozarks. That was there. Yeah, that was a fun time. Fun times with buddies there. Lake the Ozarks.
Nice.
And Minnesota. So I lived in those places there.
Okay. And what's been your favorite?
Minnesota would be my favorite.
Truly,
Minnesota would be my favorite.
It's the people, right?
It's the people, and yes, I'm able to see seasons. Spring, winter, and stuff like that.
So
it's
true.
Nice, yeah.
You're right. We do. We get all 4 seasons, and it is beautiful here. It really is. Good place to live and raise your children.
Yes.
Which, by the way, how many children do you have?
Oh my gosh, 2 unbelievably amazing daughters that definitely try my patience.
You're a girl dad for sure.
It's just getting started.
Yeah, and they're so adorable.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. And how long have you been married? How long you and your wife been together?
So actually the story of how I met my wife was I was deploying to Afghanistan, and I was going on a flight from Houston to Wisconsin, and she was on that flight because she was interning at Ernst & Young. When we were on the flight attendant asked me if I can go to the front because there was nobody in the emergency rows back then when no one flew that much.
Right.
Remember? And so I went to the front of the emergency row, and when I was walking up there, I saw a girl turn around, eye me up, and I was like, oh yeah. I'm in my dress uniform. I'm totally gonna go for it.
Like I'm feeling pretty hot.
I feel pretty hot.
You're like, I'm confident. Yeah, right? I love it.
So I went up to her and I was like, hi, my name is Joey. I'll be here in the emergency row. I'm gonna protect you if anything needs to be.
Oh my gosh.
Do you use that line on all your
No, but she did in the back of her head. She's like, this guy. But then we talked throughout the full. It was like 4 hours from Houston to Minneapolis, and so we were talking. I was like, oh man, this is great. I never talked that long to a girl. And before she got off, I was like, I'm gonna throw out my best pickup line and see if it sticks, right? So the pickup line that I threw at her, I was like, I'd like to thank you. And she was like, for what? I was like, for keeping America beautiful.
Oh,
yeah, right.
That's so amazing.
And then I hit her with the full whammy. I was like, well, can I write to you because I'm going to war? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. I mean, what girl? But I mean, seriously.
So she was like, oh God, he's going to war. Like, got to support the troops. So she was like, well, here's my address for my school dorm. She didn't want to give her real address out. So I was like, sure. So she walked out the airplane. We still had a flight going to Fort McCoy. So we went down there, and I didn't really have any internet during the time, but when we flew out to Afghanistan, first stop we stopped was in Ireland. So the first stop we stopped was Ireland. I jumped off the plane, ran to the closest post office, grabbed the postcard, wrote it, and sprayed my cologne on it, right? Sent it away.
He really knows how to.
Oh my God, yeah.
You are
my
really good
goodness.
Casanova.
Well, that was back in the day. And it was funny, because it wasn't until like a few years ago, we found all the postcards, and Kelly was like, man, this still smells like you. I was like, well, I sprayed some amber carbon finch on it.
Oh, and that lingers. That lingers.
Oh, yeah. And she was like, I thought it smelled like you. I was like thinking that, man, my head is like really thinking about you. And I was like, well.
Well, yeah, he has a
You
trick
are
there.
one smart guy. Holy
Yes,
cow, I didn't
that's
realize
so
that you were such a Casanova.
So how long you guys been married then?
Oh my gosh. So we knew each other in 2009.
Okay.
And we got married in, oh my gosh, I'm like forgetting it. I think we were married for
Casanova can't remember.
I can't. We were married like 7 years. So 7 years, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
So
A bliss, right?
bliss,
Yes.
yeah.
And you got your two little peanuts
Two
that
peanuts.
are so cute.
And the younger one's like me, and the older one's like Kelly. So
Okay.
All right, I love it. And now how we met is through our networking group. And the reason you're in the networking group is not for what we're doing here, but is because you own and started Stretcher Transport,
yes,
which has been an amazing organization that really you're helping people move or literally mobilize from their home to either a doctor's appointment or from the hospital back home. So it's a non-emergency transport. Am I saying that correctly?
yes, correct.
Yeah.
People that normally would not be able to get to these appointments without
Right.
somebody like you because
Yes.
they need to go via wheelchair or stretcher,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Right,
that's what
right.
I mean. You helped my mom shoot. So my mom lives with us. She lives in the basement. She could not get up the stairs, and she had a hard time breathing. She had to go to the hospital. I could call 911 and just to get her there, but it would have cost. I can't even imagine. So you come over. You have this awesome contraption thing. You brought the whole thing right down the stairs. Didn't bump any wall, didn't ruin anything, got her on there, brought her upstairs comfortably, brought her to the van, and then not only did you take her to the emergency room, you sat there with her for what, 8 hours?
Oh my
And talked with her
goodness.
and waited with
Yeah.
her and everything. I mean, you
I
talk about
wouldn't
taking
want to
the
get
extra
that
mile.
bill. I wouldn't want to get that bill.
Well,
I did feed you when you came back.
That was-
I had a nice home cooked meal
oh my
for you.
gosh,
when you
that was
got done.
amazing. Yeah, the pasta, and I learned some recipes from your mom that night too. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
amazing.
But I mean, what is your best client then? I mean, my mom was a perfect example because she lives with us. But those who live at home or need to go from the nursing home or back to their senior living space, from the hospital or to an appointment, I would assume, if
Yeah,
they're
so
non-mobile.
Yeah, so the best person that I would say is my best client, I know it sounds morbid, but it'd be hospice clients.
Yeah, I'm trying to
because-
get back and forth to where
Right.
it's difficult.
Well, right now the rising cost of assisted living places are like astronomical, like $9,000 a month. That type of thing. So what people are doing, they're bringing their loved ones back home, and they're taking care of them. But when it comes to that time, where at the end of life, they say, well, we need to take them to a hospice home. Well, how do you do that, right?
Right.
How do you get someone that's like bedbound?
You can't call 911.
You can't call
They're not
911.
going to.
No, they wouldn't. So
they only take you to the hospital. They don't take you to
Right.
the next location.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what happened is before I got into this business, there was a couple of companies that were like really, really high. And it wasn't until I just started doing research, like I need to have a price point where it's nice,
Where it's affordable.
right.
For these
Yeah, and that
people.
really, what caused you to start this business? You're veteran owned. You're a one man band so far in your business, or do you have other
so
drivers?
I have a couple paramedics that do work with me every now
Sure.
and then.
Okay.
But
And you were a
essentially-
paramedic as
Yes,
well, so you
yes.
have that background too.
Yeah. So essentially during COVID, a lot of people during protocols in assisted living places, if they had a cough or if they had something that resembled COVID, they had to send them to the hospital, and that was just for
Right.
precautions.
Yep.
Well, when they go back to the hospital and they're like, well, it's just UTI or it was just bronchitis, then they have to come back. And a lot of them are bedbound, right?
Right? And nobody's going to give them a
No.
ride back. They expect the family to do it.
Yep.
And the
Right.
families
Yep.
don't
And
have
you
any
know,
way
you
of
worked
doing
in the
it.
hospital. You
I
did.
had, and I know because I had dealt with this with my mother-in-law. She was wheelchair and bedbound.
Right.
And every time she went to the hospital, we had to figure out how to get her back home.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was really difficult.
So this is a much needed service.
Yeah,
that
it
people
is.
have. When you're stuck like that, you feel helpless. Like you need someone to call.
Right.
So how do they book with you? How do they get a hold of you? What's the way to work with you?
So a lot of times I hear social workers call me. So social workers are the one that call because now the word's spreading and they can see there is a stretcher transport.
Yes.
Or a lot of times people Google and I've luckily enough with the BNI group, I've heard that every business needs to be a social media business.
Yeah.
And so I took that to heart. I started doing a lot of social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, your social media is off the hook.
Yeah,
I love it.
And I just threw it all out there to see what sticks. And people are getting it from Facebook. They're getting it from the SEO.
Right.
You know, with SEO, you need to have a lot of stuff out there. And
right.
that's what I learned from BNI.
Well, throw out your number to have people,
Yeah. How
can
for
people
all
get
of
a
our
hold of you?
listeners.
Yeah,
so they can listen, so they can get a hold of you.
Go to the website, www.stretchertransportationservices.com. The phone number is 763-445-9255. Or just message and DM on Instagram or Facebook.
Perfect.
Okay, and it comes right to you, and then
Comes right to
so
me.
they just book a time. Like they're like, okay, my mom or my father, whoever needs a ride to this appointment or a ride back from the hospital. They were just released from this hospital, but we need to get them back home or to where they live. So then they just set that up, and then you go pick them up. And
Yeah, online. So they can go online, connect to the online scheduler.
Oh, good.
And I mean, they could do it at 1 o'clock in the morning, schedule a time, and it'll get to me. And if it is a time that we can do, it's accepted. And
Perfect.
Wow,
do
and
they
then you're
have
there.
to come with you, or do you do this on your own? Does the family meet you there? Do they ride in the van? How does it work?
They can ride in the van. We have one seat as a jump seat next to the stretcher. They don't really have to come if they don't want to, but a lot of times they do.
Right.
And with the stretcher, we prefer that it's like one floor to one floor.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we can go within a couple steps into like a foyer. So the stretcher is electric, and it's a one man. One man can do it. The stretcher is electric. We have the stretcher that's capable of doing it. You could put a 250-pound guy on the stretcher, and I can move him with a finger.
Yeah. We had some of those when I worked at the hospital. They have a little motor
Yeah.
that kind of moves, and in fact, it kind of takes you with it sometimes.
yeah, you gotta be careful with it. Yeah, exactly.
Also, Joey, besides stretcher transport, I know you have some other stuff going on. So let's talk about you as a producer and how you work with podcasts and filming and all the things that you do to help other businesses besides your own.
So just like stretcher transport, that kind of thought about it, and there wasn't anything out there like that. I was trying to find a video person to video stretcher transport because I wanted to spread the word. And a lot of companies were advertising like Facebook marketing and stuff like that. I was like, well, I just need someone to video something, and like create something that's like helpful, and stuff like that.
So people can see it. They can understand it
and
better.
not necessarily like a full production where it's like not necessarily professional, but something that's between iPhone and a full-on professional camera.
Exactly.
There's nothing in between there, because a lot of times when you put on social media, it only has so many like 1080 megapixels or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there was either really cheap with the iPhone and didn't really look good, or it was like super on the higher.
Yeah.
And being a smaller business, I need something in the middle without like marketing with SEO. I just need someone to be with me, right?
Right.
So that's how I started.
Somebody to kind of run the show.
Run the show, exactly.
Yeah. It's hard when you're putting on the show to do the back work.
Right.
Too.
Right.
You need a little help.
And so that's how it started. And then I started doing a couple videos free for people, to
Nice, including us.
Yeah.
You're trying to learn your craft.
Learn the craft is
Yes.
something. When I first started, oh my gosh, it looked like a PowerPoint for stretcher transport. It was just like horrendous. But then, I learned, I watched, and that's something about me I know about is when I see something, I can almost kind of copy it, and that's like my brain type is.
Yeah.
And so that's something also with video. I look at something and I was like, I think I can copy that like style, and I get a style, I look at it and say, how do I think it to look like this? And that's how.
Okay.
So you really are, you're learning on, on the job.
On the job.
And what's been fun watching you is just, you're evolving and trying, you started out, obviously you're still doing stretcher transport services, and now you have Cinemagic Creations, and Beautox Bar has hired you on to be our producer for our podcasts and our videos and helping us with some other reels and fun things, which has been great. And what I love about it is that you're willing to just try anything. You're like, well, let's try it this way. Let's try that. We play, right? Yeah. And that's how you're going to learn.
Exactly.
You're not afraid.
No.
I love that about you. And I love the fact that you're so easy to work with.
Yeah. You have a can-do attitude.
Yeah, you really do. You make it work and you help us out when we need it. Yes. I appreciate you so much.
And your videos are fun. They tell the story. They're catchy. The behind the music, because I know what it takes to edit. And that the music stuff behind it, making sure you're picking the right music, picking the right snippets, if you will, and stitching things together. Beautiful work, Joey. And I see you shine bright like a diamond when you do this, because you have passion for this. Do you not?
Yeah, no, I love it. Making videos, making it fun. I always like doing that. And, even if it's something small, I think I had a video with you and your grandson with the little car.
Oh, yes. We find it all the time. Yeah. Because you even had the right exact, like when you turned the corner, you had that screeching, when you turned the corner.
Yeah.
That video is the best. I love that video. But just that gives you an idea of what's possible. So where do you want to take your business?
Well,
for the Cinemagic side.
Well, like I said, the first time when I created Cinemagic, I was like, well, there's a need, I'll make it. And then it grew from, doing things for my friends to doing things to other people as far as their business. And so now it's like, well, now we're going to have to expand. And so we're going to have to hire somebody and do some other stuff, which I'm excited. So
hiring. Well, you need help with editing and putting because that takes a lot of time and energy. And you're still going full force with stretcher transport. That's not going anywhere. No. People, please know he's hireable. You can use him.
Yes.
For sure. He needs both, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It is. They're both passions for you. And you're shining very bright with both of them. And people are seeing it, which is great. So, yeah. And I think, too, your passion for having a really good quality video. I watch how you're perfectionist, but you're not to the point where it's not too perfect, right?
Right.
It shows authenticity.
It's authenticity.
Yes. And it shows the reality of what's really going on in the video too. Right. So people can relate to it.
Yeah.
So many videos are too professional.
Yeah. So tell me, what can you tell our listeners that are looking for this service? What can you offer them? Is it from a start to finish? You can offer them a piece of something. How could you help them? What could you do for them?
Right. So we have several packages because a lot of people have different budgets, right?
Yeah, sure.
And one of the main things is doing reels. So the more reels you get out there, the stories, the better. So we have one where it's 3 edited reels. I can go there, film for you. And that's around a couple $100. The second package, a little bit more, around $500, and it's 2 hours of filming, 5 edited reels, and the last one's a branding type of thing where we're just starting on our company or we want to redo our stuff going on, and that involves photography, that involves videos and reels, and along with that, if they're we have our own photos or videos, we just need to put it together, we can do that too.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so we did that with an event for Lyric Arts. They had all these photos, and a lot of times you have a plethora of photos, and you're like, well, how do I post them on Facebook? There's no way I can post 50.
Right.
Well, we put in a little small video that goes with music, and for about 20 seconds, they see all the video or see all the pictures. So
yes,
okay,
I love that. Yes.
Great.
And I know you like to line dance because I watched you line dance.
Yes.
He sounds a lot like us.
Oh, fun.
Just have fun. You like to live your life to the fullest. That's how Nicole and I are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
how we click really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Is there anything else you want to tell our listeners about you or about both businesses?
Yes. So one thing is, have passion for what you do, and being good at one thing helps me being good at another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I was a paramedic, my decisions had to be quick, decisive,
Right.
and like that was it.
You
Right?
didn't have time to go, what do I do?
Right.
You had to just
Yeah.
get in there and get her done, right?
You look at a person, they don't look well, you do something, and then all of a sudden now they're great. Same thing with video editing. A lot of people are like, how do you take stuff off, or how do you do whatever? Well, I look at a video, I'll look at it. Oh, that doesn't look good. Clip, gone. Don't even second guess it. The next one, oh, that looks good. Okay, I'll keep that. And the next edit, it's like clip, gone. And if you go back to like, maybe I should keep that. No, just
Yep. You're not married to it at all.
yeah. Your first intuition, that doesn't look good. Throw it away. Here's the next one.
And that is the beauty of a small business, isn't it?
It is.
Because you can just get her done. You don't have to go through all these chains and
that's right
of command and all these things
No
where
committees.
it takes oh my God, where it takes forever to get something done. You can just make the decision, get her done. That's how we are.
That's how we are too. We love that.
Love you guys. They're awesome.
No, thank you. No, we appreciate you and what you do, and thank you again for your service. And you're a calming spirit. You calm. That's how I could tell you'd be a really good paramedic too, because you come in. You're coming into people's like worst day, right, of their life. Potentially.
Yes.
And you're a calming like spirit and just your voice, everything. You're just, I got this. You're a manly guy. You're like, don't worry, I got you.
I gotcha. Well, he came in and fixed everything for us, which was perfect.
Yes.
But okay, so now I know we got your information for Stretcher.
Yes.
But now what about for this company?
Cinemagic, yes. So mostly do on Instagram. So Instagram page is where we get a lot of our inquiries through messaging.
Okay.
And I do have a website, cinemagiccreations.com. Or you can do a cell phone text. It's 832-738-6369. And that's a Texas cell phone, because I still love it, right?
They can text you.
They can text me and everything on it, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. Very cool. Well, thank you again for coming out and for taking good care of us. And we are watching you for bigger and greater things coming forward.
Love it.
And we're coming right with you.
Right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and hope this was supportive for you guys. Absolutely.
Very good.
Okay.